The streaming wars are heating up with emerging rivals, pricing backlash, and a power grab for top shows. Joining us now, Clint Stinchcomb, President and CEO of CuriosityStream. It's a streaming and on-demand destination from the founder of Discovery Channel. Clint, great to have you on the show.
Delighted to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk streaming and start with streaming, and we'll get to more drama within the media industry in just a second. But what's the biggest story in streaming you think that people should be watching right now?
I think right now, as consumers, we're going to be treated to incredible programming, really like nothing ever before. So 2018, there was about $60 billion spent on non-sports video. Okay, that'll be $100 billion this year, at least over the next 12 months. So if you're a consumer, get ready for some incredible programming. So I think, you've got this massive competition between Warner Media, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, and, nobody's fooling around, and it's going to be great.
Well, speaking of that, AT&T reportedly considering spinning off DIRECTV, a company that it bought just about 5 years ago for a hefty price tag. What would that mean for what has already become a saturated streaming market?
So I started my career in media around the time DIRECTV launched. It was 1994, and when they launched, it was awesome. I mean, so groundbreaking. More channels, more choice, more control, better picture. And really, the piece de resistance was this Sunday ticket. So I grew up in Maine, hardcore Patriots fan. I'm living in Los Angeles, and now I can watch the Patriots on Sunday. That was awesome, and millions of people signed up for that, right? Fast forward 25 years, that business is in decline. Lots of competition in the video space. There's no real satellite broadband solution, and if you're AT&T, you've got on this other side, you've got Warner Media, right? I mean, HBO Max, that's going to require a lot of resources. They've got a good hand. They've got lots of great content. They've got some good executives, so they're going hard there. And then, look, they got a robust wireless business, so probably makes a lot more sense to put their resources there. And I think the alignment between Dish Network and DIRECTV has been inevitable, right? They've tried to get together before. This is probably the first next step in that direction.
It does seem like it makes sense, but do regulators, and would regulators agree? Because that seems to be a big hurdle if AT&T were to spin off DIRECTV.
Yeah, I think they will at this point. I'm no expert on regulation, but you just have to look at the business. They're in managed decline. They lost 750,000 subscribers this second quarter, okay? Are they going to go to zero? Do we want to let them go to zero? I mean, that's an extreme example, but I think at some point, they've got to let them.
So the company essentially makes the case to regulators, hey, in order for us to survive, we need to merge.
Yeah,
that's a different story than years ago.
Much different story. I mean, when they tried to do it in the past, they were both on these massive growth trajectories. Not so today. Lots of competition, and there was no competition from Amazon or Netflix or Apple or any of these, huge behemoths. Yeah.
Speaking of that, obviously Netflix has the first mover advantage in terms of subs here in the US and internationally. Who do you think of all of these streaming services is poised to come out on top?
Well, I really believe that Netflix sort of has escape velocity right now, right? I mean, I think that it'd be really hard to catch them. At the same time, a third of their programming, maybe even 40%, came from Fox, Disney, Warner, and that's coming off, right? I mean, you look at what performs on Netflix. I mean, 2018, 52 billion minutes of The Office were consumed. That is incredible, And I watched this dynamic up close. I had high school kids in my house who had no idea what The Office was, but there's 200 episodes. You turn it on autoplay, and so, boom, that's 5,000 minutes just out of my house alone, and I don't think I was really that different, So I think that there's a lot of money going there, a lot of money going to Friends, to Seinfeld, and as these guys look to compete, they say, okay, what do we know people will gravitate to, in the scripted space?
We had this discussion earlier in the show just about costs associated with subscribing to all of these streaming services that are at least on the market or coming on the market soon. If you were to do this, it would cost close to $100 a month, $90 a month at our producer's calculation. That's without subscribing to the broadband subscription. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
How does this shake out over the next couple of years? What do bundles look like?
Yeah.
How do people end up buying this content without going, $12 a month for this, $7 a month for this, $14 a month for this?
It's a great question. I'll give you our point of view is this. So I kind of grew up in the cable industry where bundling was everything, right? And then over the last 7, 8 years, it's been unbundling. And now I think you're starting to see a reemergence of bundling. And you just have to look at two recent deals. So Disney did a deal with Charter Spectrum where it allows for them to ultimately package in these pure subscription services that Disney has. And then we at CuriosityStream, I think, did a pretty groundbreaking deal with Altice. Well, Altice came to us and said, look, Clint, is there any sort of value exchange where we could offer CuriosityStream to all of our customers, and not raise our rates, no additional retail cost to them, and then, so we could provide to them something that they pay as much as $9.99 a month for if you're not an Altice customer. So I think you'll start to see more deals like that. Yeah.
Certainly we should say Altice, the parent company of Cheddar. One thing I want to ask you about is this new series dropping today called Bright Now. What is this all about?
Yeah, so Bright Now is a big brand definitional programming franchise inspired by the CBS 60 Minutes, but it's delivered and constructed for the mobile and digital age. Okay, so what does that mean? Short, tight, timely features on high-tech advancements, challenging global issues, big moments in history, and the people at the center of it all. We premiere that today, 7 episodes, been working on it for a long time. We'll probably roll out another 30 to 35 by the end of the year. So big franchise for us, all of our partners are excited about it.
Not the only big news today, because you're also sponsoring our brand new show, Cheddar Innovates. What attracted you to the topics that we're going to be covering it?
Well, I think there's a lot of synergies between CuriosityStream and Cheddar. And so we do a lot in science, and tech, nature, wildlife, history, et cetera. So there seemed to be a good mind meld and a lot of synergies there. And we're excited today to kick off with a series, Amazon Burning, which will be on one of the Bright 9 specials. But it's also something that we'll look at with Cheddar Innovates. We'll look at how do they use AR and VR to treat health today. So lots of fun stuff, lots of synergies there. We're really excited about that.
Perfect for our audience, Clint.
Yeah, Clint, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on Cheddar today. That's Clint Stinchcomb, President and CEO of CuriosityStream.
Thanks for
joining us
having me.
live from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.